Welcome to Sip, Knit, and Page Flip, the cozy podcast where literature meets fiber arts. Join me, Mrs. Makeda, as I blend my passion for reading and crafting in a warm and inviting space designed for book lovers, knitters, and fiber artists alike. Each episode, you'll enjoy engaging discussions about your favorite books while sipping on a nice cup of tea, wine, or coffee. So get ready for delightful conversations about your favorite literary gems, classic reads, and everything in between, all while sharing tips and tricks for knitting and other fiber arts. Whether you're nestled in your favorite chair with a good book or working on your latest project, this podcast is your perfect companion. So grab your needles, your favorite beverage, and let's create a tapestry of stories together. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me. This is the Sip, Knit, and Page Flip podcast. And today we're talking about seasonal switch-ups. We're going to be looking into how when we change seasons, how our crafting changes, our beverages changes, and so do our choice of reads. So if you've never joined me before, then welcome to the podcast. And here in podcast land, you will not be able to see everything, but I will make sure that I am describing what I'm talking about. But if you would like to, then you can feel free to either join us over on YouTube. If you're going to go over to the YouTube channel, then make sure you check out Sip, Knit, and Page Flip. Or you can go over to Mrs. R's Books and Things, where there is a longer version of the recording. So over there, you won't have to worry about me describing it all because you'll get to see it all. And in podcast land, if you've never seen it, then my background is full of books, yarn, and a lot of other trinkets and things like that. I'm so excited because I've really been enjoying recording these podcasts. I've been loving the feedback that I'm getting, and I'm really enjoying sharing my journey with you as I am, creating and reading and just spending time doing the things that I love. Some of these have been full of me sharing my thoughts and how I process things when it comes to knitting and reading and just a journey that we go on alone. It's like a solo journey that we're on. But others of these have been about me encouraging you to continue to work on your craft, to continue to hone in and figure out what it is that you love and how you're going to do what it is that you love and incorporate that into your life. And so today's episode is no different. Today's episode is about the change in seasons because we just came out of spring and we are now in summer. That means it gets hot. That means we change what we do. For many of us, it means the kids are on break too. And so how do you change what it is that you do when it hits summertime and we have this 2-month period? Now, I know that's a little bit different around the world, but here in the U.S., that's generally what it's like. So again, I want to welcome you to the podcast. And we're talking about embracing the summer through your crafts, particularly fiber arts here right now, through the pages and our refreshing drinks. So again, if you see me looking down when you're on YouTube, you will know that I keep my notes because I want to make sure that I'm staying on track. I do like to converse, go through all these different topics, and it can go for a while. So I want to make sure that I hit everything that I wanted to hit and that I share all the little tidbits that I had in mind for you. So if you see me looking down, that's what I'm looking at. Let's talk about this trio here. What am I sipping today? So today I have a love ya, and I mean it, love ya, mean it mug. And in it is my daily coffee. Yes, it is about 1:46 p.m. today when I am recording, but I haven't had my coffee yet. So this is where we are. And in my mug is my Starbucks blonde roast with a little bit of oat milk, a little bit of white sugar. So I guess I have a latte here. Now, this changes for me throughout the seasons, which we will get into, but that is what I'm drinking today. So here's my sip. Next, we're going to talk about what do I have on my needles. And normally I have my needles to show you, but today I have my hook. Today I am actually working on this granny square for a domestic violence blanket project that I'm working on. I'm a part of an online community where we submit granny squares and then they put them together and they take them to a domestic violence shelter for women and children. And so I will be showing you some of these squares later on in the episode, but for now, that is what I have on my hook. I just cast something off of my needles, which I will also show you. but that's what's on my hook for now. And that means one pair of my needles is completely empty and will need to be filled this week. And what am I reading? Currently, I'm reading more than one book, but the one I'm going to tell you about is actually by one of my favorite authors, and it is Kennedy Ryan. And the book is titled, and I should know, right? It's titled Can't Get Enough. It is a part of series, but you don't have to read the entire series, the first 2 books, in order to read this one. But I'm trying to get the cover so I can show it to you. It's Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan, and I do have it here on my Kindle Colorsoft. I love how she has, made the covers change over time, and they are all women of color, which is beautiful. And the flowers, I'm a flower person, so it's really pretty, and all the covers of the books are like that. So this is what I'm reading right now. And it's kind of taken me for a little bit of a wild ride because I know that we're going to get into some things. And while there is the love and the finding of self, there's always like this heartbreak. So trying to ease my way into this because as you will learn during this episode, during the summertime, I kind of like lighter reads. But, you can't escape the climax of a book. So that is what I'm reading right now. Here you go on Chatter. Thought y'all could see it. It's Can't Get Enough by Kennedy Ryan. All right. So when we're talking about our crafts throughout the year and what we do, a lot of times, there's one way that people think about knitting. Most of the time people think I am knitting a blanket, a hat, or a scarf. And in general, that's true. I'm normally knitting a hat, a blanket, or a scarf. But when the seasons change, I have to change what I'm working with. And the reason why is because it's hot, right? And so when I'm making my hats, my scarves, my thick sweaters, and my blankets, I'm normally using some sort of wool. And it's 100% wool. It keeps us warm. It's thick. As I'm using it in my hands are nice and warm. But when the seasons change, that warmth turns into sweat and that wool becomes a little bit more harsh in my hands. And so this is when I have to choose lighter projects and lighter yarns. And so I begin to lean into things like cotton, bamboo, linen, and my projects change from being thick sweaters to being more light and airy sweaters, or I guess they can still be considered sweaters, but they're more like cardigans. I make more shawls, and I definitely cast on more socks. So I normally knit socks anyway, and when I do, I don't change like what type of yarn I'm using for my socks per se, but I do change my color. For the summertime, I start leaning into those things. And I'm going to share some of those with you too. But let me tell you, people will crochet market bags. They'll do some summer tops. They'll do lacy shawls. And some people will even do dishcloths. I even begin to lean more into my granny squares. And it's because they're small. So anything that I can take with me, I always love to make when it comes to knitting and crochet in general. But especially during the summer months, because my family and I, we begin to travel, we go to the beach, or we just take trips to family members' houses and things like that. And I can't always lug around my big old blanket. That is something that I transition over to. So I want to share with you right now some of the things that I have on my needles, on my hook, and what I plan on working with for this summer, and even some kind of project ideas. I think I showed this in one of the last episodes. These granny squares here, they are purple. And I currently have 3 of them that I'm crocheting for the domestic violence shelter blanket. And then I have about 5 of the colorful, I would say confetti style. They're white, pink, purple, and a little bit of orange granny squares. And so all of these are supposed to go together. And I think it's going to be a really great companion, a nice blanket. But I've got to get more purple made because I'm doing a whole lot of the confetti, but I've got to get more purple. And I think the reason why is because it is summer and all the pops of color, and it makes me feel really good. It's bright. The white, I don't know, it refreshes me, and it just feels like candy. Really, that's what it feels like when I'm working with it. And all the colors, like if you're watching the video or watching the live recording, you can see my face light up as I'm looking at these colors. And it's not that I don't like purple. I do. but it just doesn't do the same thing that these confetti squares does do to me. So I am currently working on that. Another thing I'm going to start is a pair of socks, right? I love working on socks, but during the summertime, I do bright color socks. In the winter, we'll move into the darker colors and everything. But this is going to be a pair of plain vanilla socks. And so what that means is it's a sock that you can find at the store per se, no specific decorations or pattern or anything. It's just the regular sock. And because this is a self-striping yarn, it's going to have the different variations of pink and white and yellow moving up the sock as I work on it. Again, in podcast land, this is I guess you could say like a bright pink, variations of bright pink, yellow, and white. And this yarn is actually from Joann's prior to them closing. It is the KC yarn, the knit and crochet yarn. It's hand dyed, and it is a 75% merino and a 25% polymade. So this is a nice yarn to work with. It's nice and squishy in my hands, but it's also airy. It's nothing that's going to cause too much friction, too much sweat as I'm working, on it this summer. And these won't take long to be done. I'll probably be done in maybe about a week or two, depending on if this is the only thing that I work on. So we'll see about that. Okay, another thing that I will be working on this summer, because when we're talking about projects, and I think I've shown this before, but when we're talking about projects, I have projects that take me a long time as well. And so this shawl is one of them. And what I like most about this shawl is the colors. So it is this bright pink, it is the white and the brown, and it is the teal. And again, like I'm talking about during the summer, the desire to work on things that brighten me up, that feel as illuminating as the sun, hot and invigorating, full of energy. I love these bright colors. I'm sitting outside, well, not today, but normally I'm like sitting outside on my porch, on my patio, and I'm knitting. And yes, it's hot, but I've got me a great drink and I'm looking at these vibrant colors. So I will be working on this shawl. It will probably take me all summer to finish it just because it's a little bit intimidating. Like if I want to be completely honest, the lace pattern is a little bit intimidating and I'm learning some things as I do it. This is definitely not a sit and watch TV knit. It is a sit down, pay attention, focus, and get it done type of project. But when I get done with it, I know I'm going to love it. I'm going to love, how the lace works up, because you can't really see it right now, but there's a lot of different things happening in the project with the lace. And once it's blocked and it's opened up, it's going to be really beautiful. Now, will I love how the color works up with this white and brown yarn? I've said this before. That is the one thing that is driving me nuts. However, I will say that a little variety is good. And maybe once it's all said and done, once it's all knitted and finished, it'll work out well. So I don't know. This might be like a beach shawl, or it may actually be one of my go-tos once I'm finished with it. But this is one of the things that I have on my needles. It's been on the needles, so I'm going to have to work on it this summer. Okay, let's talk about what I finished. So I have been working on a hat, and this hat was actually started the week after coming back from my husband's friend's retirement party, his ceremony. We actually went to the yarn shop. I talked about it in the last podcast. I showed the yarn and I showed how far I was. But since then, I've been knitting like nonstop. I've been knitting on chatter. I've been knitting in the car. I've been knitting as always. And so the project is finally finished. And to be honest, I knit a little bit too far with the pink and I ran out, so then I added the white, but I actually love how it looks. So it's not exactly a beanie. It's like a slouchy hat, but I can wear it as a beanie if I want to. It is this baby pink, I think we can say it is, with a little bit of the tan on top, and it is ribbed, and I'll be able to roll it up. I'll be able to wear it down as well and kind of put my locks in it if I want to, or I can just let it slouch on my head. So I'm not going to put it on right now because I have my hair pulled back and I don't want to mess it up, but I might take a picture and post it later. So this is the hat I was working on. I still have to weave in my ends. That has not been finished yet, but this is what I've been working on. If you've seen me on camera in chatter, or if you've seen me on TikTok knitting, And when I was sharing on the last podcast, this is what I was working on. So I'm glad to have this finished, because once I got done, I said, okay, you know what? Now it's time to figure out what I want to work on next. And I always have like a smaller project on my needles. It feels really great to finish working on these projects. Like, it doesn't matter what all I have going on in life. It's always nice to finish something. And so to have these quick wins is really encouraging. And so I love having these, little things that I get done. So the hat was it for June, because this is what I finished this month. And now I want to show you a few projects that I'm thinking about working on for the summer, because like when summer comes around, yes, the projects, they change. I go from working on like plain socks that have a whole bunch of, color working and everything in there, to something a bit more airy. So this is the Avena sock, and it is part of the 52 Weeks of Socks book. I will be working on this one. It does have like this feathery pattern along the toe and I guess the whole front part of the foot of the sock. And then it wraps around. I'm not sure how far up I will go, but I'm probably also going to pick the same color. It's going to be in this creamish color, and I think it's going to be really beautiful. Again, I will have to focus. So right now we're counting that I'll have one pair of socks that I don't really have to like focus on. I can just knit in the car, watch TV, things like that. And then I have my granny squares, which doesn't take too much focus. But then these socks will, because I have to follow the pattern, and so does the shawl. So that's 2 for 2, 2 focus, 2 not, 2 just relax and do what you want to do. Okay, so here's another example of a shawl that I would make. And I'm not making it, but this is an example of what I would make if I were making a shawl, if I were changing, because I'm making the other one, but not this particular one. But you can see how it's all, it's nice and airy. It isn't as, closed, because during the winter, we're trying to keep warm. But in the summer, we are trying to let the breeze in. So things like this are really nice to work on and to have finished. This yarn, whatever would be used for this, would be really light. It could be really thin. So it would be thinner than a fingering yarn. It would be lace weight, which some people would consider like almost thread. But it would be really beautiful. And at the end of blocking it, oh my gosh. And this is really long too. So at the end of blocking it, it's one of those things that you just have to wear. You've got to wear it. You've got to, show it off. And in general, I'm always cold in general. But when it gets hot outside, I want to have the heat, but I also love wearing my projects. So this is something that's nice too. When we go out to dinner, then I can cover up with it, and I can still have a little bit of breeze when we're out, and then that warmth when we go inside, because that is something I struggle with. I struggle with the whole like bring a sweater, but carry the sweater when you're out, and then have the sweater when you go inside. It's like, do I bring it or don't I? But when you have an item like this, it's something that you're outside, it's not too bad, and you get inside and it still can keep you warm. So we do switch to projects like this during the summer. These are all books that I actually checked out from the library. I have my own, of course, but these are books that I checked out to kind of see what type of patterns I may want to make in the future. Here's another one. So the type of sweaters and cardigans that I would normally make, again, they're really thick, but this one has a V shape on it. It's got like these little holes throughout, and I don't think this would take very long. It would probably also use a cotton yarn so that it would not be as heavy to wear throughout the summer. It has the short sleeves. So I think this is really beautiful. It's nice and elegant, but it's also like casual. I might add this one to my list. When will I get to it? I don't know. I don't know when I'll get to it, but I might add it. Okay, and then let me show you this other one. And that is called the Marilyn Magyar top. Hopefully I'm saying that right. All right. And then there's this one. And this is kind of the same thing, as you can see. It's got the holes throughout. You might wear a tank top under it, but, I think it's absolutely beautiful. These are the type of projects we work with. Again, this looks like a cotton yarn, but it could also be a light linen bamboo mix. And, when we're choosing what type of yarn we want to work with, that's what we have to think about. Where am I going to be when I'm working on the project? Am I going to be outside? What type of garment am I making? When am I going to wear the garment? And so this is one of the reasons why, seasons change and so do our projects. Because knitting isn't just for the winter. It's not just for when you're cold. It's not just to, you know, have something to do when it's freezing outside. And a lot of people think that knitters stop making things in the summer, but that's not actually true. We can knit all year long. We can crochet all year long. We just need to change what it is that we're working on and what we do. So, and if you want to have a wearable for the summertime, then this is something that would be a great option. So some people also, like I mentioned before, they work on dishcloths when they are traveling. And I think that is great too, because, you can always have another kitchen cloth or a new wash rag. And who doesn't love homemade, handmade items? I know I do. If you are someone who, you knit, you crochet, or you're thinking about it, what would you be making at this time of year? Drop that in the comments. You can send me a message on many of these platforms. Chatter here, you can put that in the comments as well. Because I would love to know, would you choose to work on a pair of socks? Oh, and I didn't show you the socks, the other pair of socks that we changed to, because it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of the same thing. It's got the lace pattern in it. This is more like a V shape, but it does have the lace pattern in the sock. To bring it closer to the camera so you can see it. And, it's different. It's not just closed off. It allows more air. I think that during the summer months, we give more room to, I think, kind of like elegant, open air, an open airy feel. I don't know. I'm looking for the words to describe it, but it's more like not as closed off. It's more open, right? And it's not just for us to be able to cool off. It's almost like by working on the project, we are opening up ourselves to newer, brighter, better things. I think that's how I feel about it. It's so funny when I'm making these podcasts and I'm trying to figure out how to express my thoughts and my emotions around, say how I'm feeling. It's weird because so many times I think I know exactly what to say about what I want to say. And then I get on here and I try to explain it to you and I realize, no, I have no idea what I want to say about what I want to say, because I'm trying to give you this image, this understanding of what's happening on the inside when I'm working on my projects, and I've got to put it in words in a way that you get it. And so in the winter, when I'm keeping warm, my projects are closed, right? But that's also a time where I think in life sometimes we go through certain things as well. But in the summertime, I don't know, I guess I feel a little bit more open, a little bit more adventurous. I'm willing to try and see different things. It's hot. I think you're going to see this even in my book choices, that during the summer, it's just a little bit different. Yeah. I don't know if that made sense, but I'm trying to help y'all understand. So, that is the knitting portion of this episode. If you have not already, please make sure that you check out all the links. And if you would like to become a part of the community, then join the Discord. There is a free portion of the Discord, but then there is a supporter version of the Discord that gives you access to special conversations and content. The knitting group there, because we will be working on the how-to items. Those things will also be available inside the Discord as well, because I've had a lot of people ask me, well, how do you knit? How do you crochet? Or how do I get restarted? Things like that. So I would love to support you. So if you would love to join, then make sure to click those links and hop in the group. All right. So now let's talk about these books. Let's get into these books, y'all. When it's not summertime, I read heavy books. They are so heavy. They're really heavy. Some of the topics are really heavy, right? But when the seasons change, I want to read something a bit lighter. I don't mind there being that heaviness, but not as heavy, again, because I want to be able to sit on the porch and not cry. Not a sad, they got beat up cry, or what happened, why type cry. I want to cry because it was beautiful. I want to cry because there was love. I want to cry because it was such a great story. Yeah. I want to laugh. And so my book choices, they change. And so I'm going to share with you some of the things that I have read in the summertime. And some of these I have loved. And I know for sure one of them I did not love, but I'm still going to share it with you because the journey of reading the book was good. And that is the thing about when we read these books. We don't always have to love the book. It doesn't have to become our favorite book. We can even want to sell the book if we want. But I will tell you, One time I got rid of a book that I did not like, and months later, I wish I had not gotten rid of it because I thought about that book. I thought about that journey. I thought about everything that the author put in that book, and I wish I still had it on my shelves to go back to and see how I felt about it later. So I think about this a lot, like this solo journey that I'm on, and I shared on my YouTube page my thoughts and opinions about the book, and I was so critical. Oh my gosh, I was so critical of the author. I was so critical about what she said, the stories that she shared, and months later, I was like, oh, I probably should have kept that book because I'm older now, you know? I mean, that was months later, but even now, like talking about it, and I think this was 10 years ago when I read it. So I'm going to share books with you that I loved and that I didn't so much love, but that I enjoyed the journey. All right. So some great and maybe not so great summaries that I have read are, let's start with this one. 7 Days in June. 7 Days in June is a love story, and it takes place in June, so it's in the summer, and you will definitely feel those vibes. Like, there are great things and not so great things that happen in the book, and this was actually, I think, one of my very first romance books in the non-inspirational genre, just straight romance, because I've been reading inspirational romance for a really long time. But in just like contemporary romance, 7 Days in June was one of these books. I love the journey of reading this. I thought that the characters were great. And I actually have 2 copies. I should do a giveaway. But I have 2 copies of this book because I didn't know. I read it and then I didn't know that I had the physical copy. I thought I read it on my Kindle and then I got it again. So I've got 2 copies of this one. This is a really great read, and it's one of those things that'll have you like laughing out loud. It'll have you tearing up at the same time. And you know why? It's because this story is about 2 people that meet, but they're meeting for the second time. And that second chance romance thing, that is really beautiful, especially when the writer knows how to put in the elements of like the season that they are in, and you can feel like you are there. So that's one of the reasons why 7 Days in June was really good. This is one of the books that I would recommend. Another example of a book that you could read during the summer is, I have a whole slew of books over here. So like I'm choosing what to show you. Let's go with The Shop at Blossom Street by Debbie Macomber. Now, I love Debbie Macomber's books. She is what I would consider an inspirational fiction romance writer. I mean, I don't know how long she's been writing, probably 20 or 30 years. Many of her books come in like this mass paperback version. And so what I like about this is I'm able to like put it inside of my purse and take it with me. I have a Kindle, as you saw, but I love my physical books. However, to carry around a big chunker like The Covenant of Water with me constantly, that's not it. We can't do that. I can't take this to the restaurant. When I'm at the beach, this is probably going to get messed up. So having these little mass paperbacks is great. The other thing is most of her books, they were $7.99. What is it now due to inflation? I don't know, but they were $7.99. You can get them used or new, and sometimes used they're even like $1 and some change. But this particular book is about a group of friends. Well, they weren't friends at first, but a group of women that meet at a yarn shop. How convenient. But they meet at a yarn shop, but they all have their different, the different things that are happening in their lives. And coming together at the yarn shop little by little helps them to get through these places, these tough spots. This book made me laugh. It made me cry. It made me want to know people like the ones that I met in this book. And they are young and they are old and everything in between, really. And I think that's what made it so beautiful was when I was spending time with the older woman, I felt like I was with my grandma, right? And as she went through her experience, I wondered about my grandmother's experiences. And it wasn't always good. There were times where I closed this book because I was crying for her. And I know I said that I don't like reading heavy books during the summer, but it was a different type of weight. It wasn't the one where it was the weight of the world. It was just her experience and what she was going through. And she's a woman. And I love that, Debbie Macomber showed her as a real woman in this book. Then there was the young lady who was going through some things, and I thought she could have made some better choices, and I wondered why she was the way that she was until we get further along in the story and we learn why she is the way she is. And with that, I thought about a lot of people that I've met. I thought about myself, my younger self. And so as they come together with the two women in the middle and all the people around them and just these stories, and there's love in there, y'all. There's love baked in between these pages. I finished it and then I went and got the other one because this is actually a series and this is the first one in the series and there are 3 of them. So I got the other one and I'm not done with the other one yet, but yeah. It's a really great story, The Shop at Blossom Street by Debbie Macomber. A nice, beautiful read that you can take with you anywhere. You can put it inside your purse or your backpack. You can tuck it in your glove compartment of the car. Yeah, I love Debbie Macomber. She's a great author. Okay, let's talk about Black Cake. Black Cake, how do I say this? Black Cake and I have a love-hate relationship. So I actually took Black Cake with me on a trip to the beach for Father's Day one year. The stories about the water, the stories about the beach, the stories about, I don't know, just this experience of being at the beach. I loved it. It was perfect. It was what I needed and what I wanted as I sat by the water, as I looked out the window, and the writing was great at the beginning of this book. Right now, before I go into and I say the rest of this, there is a series, I think it's on Netflix or something. It could be on Amazon based upon this book. And I've been told that the series is really great. But let me tell you, I DNF'd this book. And if you don't know, DNF means did not finish. I did not finish this book. And the reason why was because in the second half of this book, it's like there was a different author. There was a change in the experience, even in the description. It was just different, right? So why would I tell you to read it? Because I think you should make your own decision. And because I love the beginning of it, and I still have this book, it means that one day I am going to finish it and see what I really think about the book in its entirety, right? I did not finish, but I'm not going to get rid of it. And I don't want to watch the series until I do read it. But that first half had me. That first half, oh my gosh, the description of the water, the description of what happens to the character. I don't even want to tell you what happens to the character because I think it's something that has to unfold in the pages of the book. That experience in the beginning of this book was really good. And you know what the funny thing is? I'm kind of like talking myself into reading it again because I read it maybe 3 years ago. And that was my opinion at the time. But like I said, it doesn't mean that is going to be what my opinion is now. So I don't know. Will we meet again, Black Cake, this summer? We'll see. Me talking to my books. Now, this lady right here, this is Christina C. Jones. I absolutely love her books. And there are so many that I could tell you to read. They're like, a lot of them are on my Kindle. This is one of the ones that I have from her that is a physical book, physical copy, and it's called A Crazy Little Thing Called Love. She is a great writer. Oh my gosh. She will make you feel all the things. She does write romance, but she will make you feel all the things. She is also in the Black romance category, but she does have a lot of different characters, right? But they're so relatable. And whether they are expressing to the world or expressing just to us how they feel about their experiences, I love it. I mean, this is one of the reasons why I just kept going down the romance rabbit hole. I mean, the feels that you get from this, the experiences. I don't even know where she gets all these stories from because she has like over 100 titles that she's written. And some of them are small novellas. Like this is I guess it could be considered a novella, but she has really small novellas sometimes that are maybe I can finish them in a day. I mean, that doesn't mean anything. You can finish a 400-page book in a day if you really want to, but I guess one sitting. But the way that she writes, the things that she does with these characters, and a lot of times we get the perspective of the man and the woman, right? The male and the female. And we feel for both of them. We understand both of them. So this is one of the things that I like sitting on my porch in my patio reading. This is one of the things that I giggle about, as I'm reading. You find me, if my family will be like, what's so funny? And I'm like, nothing. But Yeah. Christina C. Jones, A Crazy Little Thing Called Love. She owns a cafe, and she meets someone who owns a club. Is it a club? No, I might be getting it the other way around. Either way, they're both entrepreneurs, and they work on, their shops on the same street. And this experience of them getting to know each other and what happens in their community is really beautiful. And then I love the cover art. Look at this. Some of my favorite things. We've got a nice hot beverage here, and then we've got roses. And I love roses. I love the feel of this. If you could see it, if you're, in podcast land, if you could see it, then you would understand what I mean by what this book gives. And here on Chatter and in YouTube, you see it. Like, it's giving cozy, it's giving, it's giving read me. That's what it's giving. It's giving read me. Pick me up and read me. How many pages is this book? This book is 205 pages. So yeah, during the summer, we want these, light, airy, make me laugh, make that one tear drop out of my eye, don't make me boohoo and cry book. And this is one of them. Christina C. Jones, definitely a go-to. All right, so now I'm going to talk about what I am currently reading and what I plan on reading this summer. If you are currently reading or you have any summer reads, then make sure you share those because, I always want to know what you're reading. We're looking for these stories that, my daughter was reading one time. Why did the title just escape me? This is crazy. It was a summer book about the summer I turned pretty. She read that and she liked it. And she read it during the summer. And I think that's kind of perfect when they put summer in the middle of the title. I mean, because you got to buy it. It's like putting books in the title. I'll buy it because I'm a book lover, or a library, or knitting. Like, sometimes I just buy the book because it says those things. So yeah, sometimes there are fantasy books that you can read. I try to think about, what type of fantasy books have I read during the summer, but I don't think I have. I think I've read those in like the autumn time period. I don't know if y'all can hear, but my dog is snoring. And then there are these like mystery books. There are the cozy mystery books. Those are pretty good too. There are some of those that take place like on a beach, or I am currently reading a cozy mystery book as well. It's happening in a cafe. So this is one of the books that I plan on reading, or I'm thinking about reading this summer. It is In Love and Trouble by Alice Walker, Stories of Black Women. And why? Because it's small. Seems like a nice little quick read, right? And in the summer, that's what I'm kind of looking for. And then it has water on the cover. I know people say don't judge a book by its cover, but I do. I do that a lot. I oftentimes am like, oh no, that doesn't look pleasant. I'm not happy with that, but I judge the books by its cover. So water and summertime, because I love the beach, they go together. So I'm going to see, if I like it. This is the author of The Color Purple. And I read The Color Purple 2 summers ago. I revisited it last summer. Not 2 summers ago, but 2 years ago. I revisited it last year. And I know that is actually a series. I have the next book, but I'm going to just kind of tap in and see what she's sharing here. In Love and in Trouble by Alice Walker. We like nice little books too, but I'm going to tell you something else that I also like during the summer is I like to spend time with characters. I am one of those people that, yes, I like a quick read, but I absolutely love big books. I love big books and I cannot lie. And it's just because I like to spend time getting to know these people and understanding their journey and letting them sit with me or me sit with them. And oftentimes I don't want the book to end. One year I read through a book. It was like 1,000 pages. I think I read through it in less than 30 days. And I was so shocked because of how fast I was reading through it. And when I got done, and I did not want it to end. But it was a great book. It was heavy. It's The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois, or Du Bois, depending on how you say it. But it was a great book, y'all. It was so good. And I cried. I wanted to throw the book across the room. But that's what you get. That's what you get when you get big books, Let me show you what I'm reading, and then we'll talk about a few of the big books that I'm thinking about reading. So I'm currently reading Andromeda, and this is actually a story about a young lady that goes to work. She's doing an internship at a publishing company, and I think she's falling for her supervisor or the owner of the company. I don't really know his position quite yet because of how they're talking about him in this story. But you know what I just found out? If you're going to read it, you might be mad at me. Spoiler alert. I just found out in this book that I think he's married. Now, we didn't know that. We didn't know. We did not know that. I didn't know that. I never read the synopsis. So I guess I can't speak for us, but me. I did not know that, right? And when I got to that part, I was like, shut your mouth. Girl, what are we doing? Where are we going? So yes, I'm going to finish. I'm going to finish this book. I'm not even halfway through. But I'm like, really? Okay. You know, that's a good thing about books. In books, it doesn't have to be what you would do. It doesn't have to be who you are. It doesn't have to be like the journey you would go on. This is not about me. This is about her. And I want to know what she's really thinking, and I want to see where this goes. So the other thing is, it's a publishing company. It's about books. You know, they're talking about books. They're talking about how the books are making it to the next level. Like, we're getting all in between those pages. We're talking about authors and the criticism of the authors on the back end, and that is my jam. I love it. Hopefully this book ends up, you know, really good, because I would hate to feel this great about the book and then at the end be like, this book sucks. But yeah, so Andromeda. This is one of the Book of the Month books that I have. And for a long time, I got the Book of the Month subscription, and then I canceled it probably 3 months ago. I talked about it on a podcast. And the reason why I canceled it is because I have like 40 of them, and I think I've only read 2. But every month I would get a book. And what I love about it is it does have the Book of the Month emblem here. And then, you know, it is on the spine of the book. But then when you take off the jacket of the book, and this is a beautiful thing. This is really great. Does this one do it? No, this one doesn't do it. That's a shame. Normally, at the bottom is the date, the month, and the year that the book was. Okay, here it is right here. It's in the front. So it is the emblem for Book of the Month, and then it's when it was published or when it was a part of the Book of the Month. And this one says January of 2025. But I think all of them are still in their jackets right now, but I think they normally have it down at the bottom as well. So when they sit on my shelves, and one day when we stop moving and everything, some of my books, I am going to take the jackets off of them, and I'm going to have them sitting on the shelves just like this. And I thought it was great that they would all the Book of the Month emblems would line up together, and all of the months would be down here. And so it's beautiful. I think like I go for like that whole novelty of it, like the feel that what I'm doing has like foundation. Yeah. I picked this one off the shelves. I was just like, okay, what do I want to read? I haven't read some of these. Let me see which one I want to pick up. And again, it's that time of year where sometimes I want teeny tiny books and really big books. Okay, so the other thing is, this one is really a series. It is by A.E. Valdez, and she is a romance author. Now, I've already read this one. Yes, I started annotating it. I don't always annotate my books, but I did annotate this one. I was going to write a blog post and all the other stuff, but I got halfway through and I said, I don't want to annotate it anymore. And that's my prerogative. I could change my mind, I guess, whenever I want, sometimes. Okay, so this book, all I've wanted, all I've needed is a beautiful story. I love the cover. Love the cover. And she is a good writer. Can I tell you what it's about? No, I really don't remember. I don't remember what it was about, but I remember how it made me feel. It made me feel great. It was beautiful. And so I'm probably going to have to reread it since I don't remember what it was about. And then I have these other 2 books in the series. The reason why I'm showing you this is because I'm actually thinking about reading this series this summer, because it would be the equivalent of like a big book, you know, spending time with the author, spending time with the characters, and enjoying the journey. So this is the first one, all I've wanted, all I've needed. I believe the second one, I could be very wrong, but I think the second one is this one, Colliding with Fate. And then the third one is The Beginning of Forever. So yeah, I should have looked at the synopsis so I can tell you what it's about. But you know what? Sometimes I feel like they do too much when it comes to the synopsis of the book. It's like, you know, today when you watch the trailer of a movie and they show you all the great parts and they tell you everything that like you're waiting to see, but you just saw it in the preview. So then when you get to the theater and you see it, you're like, oh yeah, I knew that was going to happen because they showed it to me before I even got here and bought my ticket. That's what I don't want in the book. I don't want them to tell me so much that there's nothing for me to figure out, that there's nothing for me to nothing to be unraveled for me. I think they need to work on how to give me the story how to get me to buy the story without getting me the whole story. Give me what I need to get me in, but then let the rest unravel. So my fallback, the thing has been, just don't read the back. Just don't read the back of it. Or start reading the back and then that's it. That's all I need is the first few lines. I have even if I go to the bookstore, this is why I judge books by their cover. If I go to the bookstore, I look at the cover, I flip through it, I'm like, okay, how does it feel? How does it sound? How thick is it? What we're going to do. And then I read the first few pages and I see, if I like it. And if I do, then I buy it. If I don't, then it stays at the bookstore. Okay, so these are two books that I am thinking about reading. They're pretty books. This one is 500, and it's not huge, but it's still a nice little chunker. 508 pages. I do kind of know what this one is about. It is about a lady who is the daughter of the wealthiest Black man at the time in the city. I think she has some choices to make because not everything that's happening is legal. I could be wrong. Nope, I'm not going to do it. This is one of the books that I might read. Beautiful cover. It's pretty thick. And you know what? I don't know if I want to read it by the time I get into it. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. How does that come across when I'm telling you about books and I'm telling you about my experience? I'm telling you about why I want to read it. How do you feel about the fact that I can't really tell you much about what it's about until I read it? And then even then, I don't want to tell you too much because I don't want to spoil it for you. Y'all let me know. Drop it in the comments. Let me know here on Chatter. Give me that feedback because I don't want it to mess up your experience when I'm like, yeah, read this because it looks pretty. So yeah, let me know. Okay. This other one here, The Covenant of Water. This book was on the Oprah Book Club list, and that's why I got it. Yes, cover is beautiful. It's a nice thick one. Here's the thing about this one though. I know this one will probably make me cry. I know this one will probably be pretty heavy. And the reason why is because it's in the historical fiction genre. It's not romance. And historical fiction always takes me on a pretty wild ride. It breaks me, makes me cry. But you know what? That W.E.B. Du Bois book, Du Bois, I don't know how we saying it, but that book made me cry. That book, oh my gosh! Like I said, I want to throw it across the room, but I loved it. And I think I did that one. I'm gonna have to go back, but I may have done that one late spring, early summer, or maybe late summer, early fall. I don't know. I'll have to look. But I have it on my TikTok. I have it on my Instagram. I'll check. But yes, this one, The Covenant of Water, I am thinking about reading. And it says, from the very first page of Abraham Van Garci's The Covenant of Water, I was overtaken with joy. Truly, I caught my breath, absorbing such beauty. What a sure faith this novel is. What an agreement with language. What a glorious story of land and family. What a brilliant path written across generations. See? That's all I need. And you know who wrote that? Honoré of how do you say her name? Fionnone Jeffers, the author of The Love Songs of W.E.B. Du Bois. That is the book that I was talking about. You see, so I'm going to have to read it. I didn't even read that until just now. I'm going to have to read it. If I love that book and the author of that book is saying you got to read this book, then I got to read this book. So yeah, big books this summer, big books. If you are a big book lover, let me know what books you love to read. What are they, right? Okay, so that is my current situation with the books here. I also have a cozy little mystery book that I'm reading, and I'm calling it cozy, but I don't really know if it's cozy because there's some death. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube. I may have to clip it and say unaliving. I don't know, but and it's in the beginning. And I'm like, oh, okay, we're doing this. All right. But it's a murder mystery and it seems to be a stalker. Y'all, I'm not ready. I'm normally so scared of these books, but you know why I'm in it? Because I told myself it was cozy. I said, it's a cozy mystery. You could do this, Makeda. You got it. But now I'm in it. And I'm like, I don't know if I should be reading this, but I'm reading it. And why do I not know? It's because I'm so scared of these. I'm scared of like the real mystery books where there's a stalker. It's weird because like he's watching her through the window. Yep, it's one of those. But it's on my Kindle, so I'm going to finish it real soon. Kindle books get finished like that. So yeah. Okay, so share with me your love of books and what you're reading, and how do you change what you read during, when we go into summer? If you change, you may not change, but if you do. And then let's do a little bit of this sips. What changes in the summer for the sips, right? Because we do sip, knit, and page flip. We've talked about the knit. We talked about the page flip. Now let's talk a little bit about the sips. So in the winter, I love like the chocolate drinks, mocha chocolate, things like that, white chocolate, and they're normally hot drinks. I do love hot drinks, but what I have found, especially this year, is that I lean into the shaken espressos, or I also lean into flavored lemonades. I have a lemonade that I've made and I've put strawberry and basil in it. I've had one with some mint and some lime, and I've even put some of that in like a cranberry drink with the strawberry. And so I think that the drinks change with the season. They become like, things that you can sit on the porch and drink, things that you can just, not go to sleep, because if you have the wrong cup of tea or the wrong cup of, even sometimes I guess a coffee can like, cause you to relax a lot, even though it has caffeine, if it doesn't have that much in it. But these drinks, I don't know, they just pair really well with the books that I'm reading. And so that's how it changes for me. I go into like the teas, and I think it's called mocktails, where, it's not really an alcoholic beverage, but it's similar. I think it was like a blueberry mint type mocktail. It was not a ginger ale, but it had a little bit of spritzer in it. That was nice. And what I am thinking about doing is having me more of like the peach tea. I have a mango tea with some agave in there, probably trying to remove some of the regular sugar for my teas and just do like those natural sugars. I may add in some honey depending on what it is that I'm drinking. But I think that, even now I'm having my coffee, but I'm having it because it's like my thing to do. But every morning I do ask myself, do I want hot tea or do I want hot coffee? And I know I don't do that during the winter. There was a point where I didn't even drink coffee at all. And that was 5 years ago. But now I'm a coffee lover and I love teas. I am new to the wine category, so I don't know too much about that just yet, but they're good too. On a nice, cozy evening with a good book, a nice dinner, just relaxing and reading. I enjoy that as well. If you have any recommendations for nice wines to pair with a good book, tell me the wine and tell me the book. Like, don't leave me out. Give me the book and the wine. That way I can understand, like, what the journey is going to be like. What do we listen to during the summer? During the summer, I like jazz all year long, but during the summer, I want like this upbeat, skipping down the road type jazz feel. And I think that's the feeling all the way around. I want things that are going to make me like smile and giggle and, I don't know, feel really good on the inside. I don't think that changes during the winter though, y'all. I don't think I ever get to a point where I just want to cry. But we'll see. We'll do this again in the winter and we'll see what I say then. We'll compare how I say I want to feel in the winter. Right now, I'm in summer mode. Okay, so one thing I want to do, and thank y'all so much for hanging out with me. One thing I want to do right now, we are going to go into another segment, right? But I want to share with y'all some of my children's art. And they're not all little children, but they are my children. So I want to share with you. We're going to start with my daughter, because baby girl is just doing it. She worked on a few projects. Let me make sure I put this up here right. And I love to show off their stuff. So I'm going to show it to you. And a lot of times I'm like showing my son's art that he's given me. Sometimes I hijack my daughter's stuff too, though. And I'm going to show it to you. Okay, meet Fred. This is the first one that she did. Okay, and Fred in podcast land is a little monkey with a mushroom growing out the top of his head. We love mushrooms, her and I, and so she incorporated it in the art, and it's on this little canvas. I think it's so cute. She put Fred on the side, and he's just got like this blank face. So what does he feel? We don't know. Fred could be happy, but just not feel like smiling. But now I'm looking at him, and Kind of looks like he's smiling. I guess it depends on me, right? It depends on me how Fred looks. Okay, so that is Fred. And then we're going to meet Froggy. So she also did Froggy here. And Froggy has a mushroom growing out of his head as well. I need to ask her. Fred might just have a mushroom hat because Froggy actually looks like he has a mushroom growing out of his head. And he has that blank face as well. But I guess it depends on how we feel to say what he's really feeling. And then I know this is the bear, but he has no name. And I need to tell her she didn't put a name on him. I think I told her already. But he's really cute. He is mushroomless. I don't understand why he is mushroomless because the other two had mushrooms, but he's mushroomless and they all got made at the same time. But once I tell her that he's going to have a mushroom because she's going to be like, oh no, we've got to have it. These are the trio. So they are really nice. And I love my little artist. Sometimes she'll do a canvas, right? And she'll take it and she'll scribble. Well, not scribble. What is it? When you take the paint and you're done and you don't like it anymore, you just mess it up and, and then she'll set it aside and I'll come in and I'll take it. And then I'll go put it on one of my shelves or something. And she'll be like, Mom, that's not art. You're not supposed to have that. And I was like, it is art. It's abstract art. And I love it. And then I just, like, you see the deer, she did that. The cactus, she did that. The rose, she did that. And so many things that she's done. If you can see up above my head, there's some of her abstract art up there. But I don't let her throw it away. And I don't let my older son throw it away either. She's 11 and he is 22. And I'm going to show you one of his art pieces right now. Okay, so hopefully you can see this. Let's see. Can you see it? This is an owl that he made. Let me tilt it back a little bit. It's an owl that he made. Yes, he sketched this, y'all. And I think he's going to start trying to sell some of his art. So if you see anything that I show you and you're interested, let me know because we are encouraging him to lean into this art thing. And, he is such a talented artist. You see, he framed it and all. So where did I find this piece? And if you're in podcast land, I am going to post it, but it's basically the colors are like different browns and tans and earthy colors. And then he has it in a gray frame with a brown paper that he drew it on. And then there's a white border on it. So I love how he framed it as well. It was in the closet. I don't know. It was in the closet. But you know where it's about to be? On the wall. That's why I'm putting it on the wall. It's not going to be in no closet. Okay, so I wanted to show y'all that it's my baby's art, both of them. And yeah, if I find anything else, I'm going to show it to you. But I'm so proud. I'm so proud of them when they do their art. And I know that they're doing it for them, right? They're just expressing themselves. But I see it and I'm like, wow. I've got this picture up here on many of my videos. And you can see this is guy up here. He's a boxer. My son did that for me. So in chatter, I'm pointing, but in YouTube, I'm not anymore. Okay, there we go. He's a boxer and he sketched that for me. And he's so talented. He is so talented. And that was in a time where I think I was like fighting some things inside and maybe he knew, I don't know, but he brought it to me. And he was like, Mom, I'm about to get rid of this. What do you think? You want it? And I was like, absolutely. And it's there. It was hung on my walls, everything. So, and I tell him all the time, sign your name, son, because one day you don't know. You don't know what this art is going to be worth. You don't know where it's going to be found. And it's yours. Sign your name on it. So I'm trying to get him to do that. He doesn't sign his name. But anywho, yeah, that's all we've got. I do want to say I have thoroughly enjoyed sharing with you. I love doing these podcasts. I love, love, love doing them. Now, the prep to do them and the all the stuff to get ready, I'm like, oh my Lord, why is it taking me so long? But the actual doing, I love it. I hope you love it too. I hope you are enjoying like the encouragement to get into your things, get into your hobbies, get into your books, find out what it is that you love. Do it to express yourself. But like I talked about before, impress yourself, right? Do stuff that you absolutely enjoy. And I think this is one of those things for me. So I want to thank you so much for joining me. If you're in podcast land and you're trying to figure out, okay, what are some of the resources? Those are in the show notes, so you can click the link over there. You can also go over to the YouTube where you can watch the podcast. Remember, Sip, Knit, and Page Flip is only about 15 minutes because I don't have the ability for the long uploads. but the Mrs. R Bookish, that's where you get everything. And then I also post a lot of other things over there as well. I'm going to start doing more book reviews again. I did do them before. I'm going to make room and do more of those because I've heard some people say, and not particularly to me, but I've heard them say, do people not review books anymore? Yeah, we do. I just need to do them. I can't speak for everybody else, but I need to do them. I'm always reviewing the book. I'm always talking about like what I thought about the book and how I felt about it. I'm just not telling you guys. I'm just not posting and publishing it, but I'm going to. And, if there's something you would like to see or learn or understand, then let me know. Let this become part of the journey. Does it mean I'm going to do everything? Doesn't mean that, but I definitely would consider it. And some of the things, I'll do them. So, yeah, I've loved this. I've enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining us here on Sip, Knit, and Page Flip. This is a great, cozy podcast, and I can say that it's great because I love it, but I hope you love it too. And I hope you come back and join me next time. If you have not already, please join the Discord and drop some feedback down below. I hope to see you next time. And I hope you decide to pick up your projects, work in your hobbies, and read those books. Don't forget to sip on something nice and pleasant that makes you happy and feel some joy, and share with the world what you're experiencing. But most importantly, make sure that it means something to you. So thank you again for joining me. Until next time. Bye.